Hello everyone, it's Darkseeker here again. Welcome back for another video. Now, today we are playing Spiteful Dragon Priest on the standard mode ladder. Now, on the 22nd of May, there's going to be a round of nerfs that are coming. Various cards are being hit. These are cards that form part of tier 1 decks at the moment. Spiteful Summoner is one of the cards that's being hit. It's now going to cost 7. It's not the worst thing in the world. I mean, after all, how often do you get to play Spiteful Summoner on turn 6? For me, quite often, I will be waiting till, what, turn 8, turn 9, turn 10 or beyond before I can actually play my Spiteful Summoners. So, playing it one turn later in the best case scenario, i.e. on turn 7, it's not the worst thing in the world. Now, this deck has been really fun to play for me, and I guess this is my last opportunity to showcase it before the 22nd of May, so if there's anyone out there that's interested, you can give this deck a go before the nerfs hit. And it's a deck that runs lots of dragons, and everyone loves dragons, particularly in a paladin infested meta. Duskbreaker is a pivotal card. It does great work at clearing boards, clearing dudes, clearing boards that are summoned by call to arms. It's pretty awesome. The other thing to note in this deck is there's Prince Keleseth, who I never draw on turn 2. Hey, by turn 4, turn 6, turn 8, turn 10, I still haven't found him. Keleseth is often in the last 5 cards of my deck, which is quite annoying. And the final consideration is that in comparison to Spiteful Druid, that only runs 2 big spells, this deck runs 4 big spells. Therefore, you sort of avoid the issue of getting all of your big spells in your hand before you draw the 2 Spiteful Summoners. Okay, so let's have a look at the deck in action on the standard mode ladder. Okay, starting out against a Paladin, and this is a pretty good hand to keep. I mean, there's no argument to say that you should mulligan aggressively for Spiteful Summoner. But in this context,
is someone injured?
Playing a Cleric on turn 1 is just very, very strong. He's a dude-centric Paladin, as you can see from the hero power. And oh look, there's some dudes. And I'm really surprised he did that, because now I'm drawing cards, and to be honest, this has to feel bad for him. You do not want to give me card draw, especially given that I'm a Spiteful deck. You do not want to give me card draw. I just get closer and closer to drawing Spiteful Summoner. Oh look, there it is.
Right away.
And we're just going to continue drawing. Now, I can kind of see his strategy. I think there comes a point where he can go super wide on the board with the dudes and then just trade a few of them in to kill the Cleric. But in the process he gives me card draws, so it's a bit of a trade-off. Going wide on the board versus giving me value.
Reporting for duty.
Yeah, and there it is. So he's played 2 Lost in the Jungles here. He's gone super wide on the board. The idea now that he's going to want to buff. He's going to want to buff that board. Probably next turn with the Stegodon. But Duskbreaker saves the day, which is pretty awesome. And we're getting closer to Spiteful Summoner turn.
Brave heroes of Gilnet, arise!
Yes, Prince Liam, that is not a card that you see every day. So I'm kind of confused here, or a bit lost even. I mean, speaking of lost, he's played both Lost in the Jungles. So maybe, how many more 1-cost cards would he have in his deck? This is interesting. Yeah, it's certainly very different, and it sort of spices up the meta a little bit. Well, spices up this game of Hearthstone at least. And that is not a great 8-drop. But yeah, you don't know what to expect here. You really don't know what to expect. Be interesting to see what kind of legendaries he got lucky with, or unlucky with.
Reporting for duty.
You know, and if he's playing Prince Liam in his deck, what other strange cards is he playing? Feels like a bit of an off-meta deck. And sometimes off-meta decks are the decks that work the best, because you have the surprise factor, and people don't know how to counter what you're playing, they don't know how to deal with it, they don't know what strategies to employ. Oh, well now, so Equality was my auto pick because I've seen so many paladins with Equality, you know, Equality, Avenging Wrath, that sort of imprinted in my brain. And yeah, it's thrown me off course a little bit. Because of course, what I should have realised is this is an odd paladin. And I picked Equality, which has 2 costs, so it's an even card. I should have realised that this is an odd paladin. I can't believe that I made that mistake, but it happens.
Reporting for duty.
Okay. Abomination is pretty decent here. It's a dude killer, and given his ability to refill the board with dudes, just with the hero power alone, Abomination's good. And the Lich King there is pretty sweet. And I am prioritizing on killing dudes. That seems to be the most sensible thing to do.
Put your faith in
And he actually got Tyrion. Wow, from Stonehill Defender. I guess I got the Lich King, so I shouldn't be complaining too much. But thankfully, Spellbreaker does pretty good work here. Yeah, if that could hit face, we'd be pretty happy. And I'm happy to leave a 2 attack, 2 health minion on the board. I have a taunt in the way. And at some point, as I say, I need to be aggressive. I need to push damage, because if I don't, he will just continue refilling the board. He'll continue going wide, and I'll just forever be in this cycle of trading. So yeah, we need to push some aggression at some point.
I wonder. Reporting for duty.
That hero power is so good. It's so good. That weapon, however, is less good. Because giving dudes taunt, I would have killed the dudes anyway, I think. So giving them taunt doesn't do much.
Is someone injured?
Leave slash! Stick smash! Run away!
Okay, so there's a dragon. So our Dustbreaker is now active. Feels pretty good. The Worm Guard, do I want to commit it? Not sure that I do just yet. So an odd paladin. What kind of board clears does odd paladin run if they cannot run Equality? That's what's going through my mind at the moment. I'm going to assume that, well, they can't run Consecration. So
Let me think.
I guess they're kind of stuck when it comes to AoE or board clears.
Reporting for duty.
So maybe I should have played the Worm Guard. We have this mind control in our hand, and I think we're waiting for a big target, something valuable that we can actually steal. I mean, that Tyrion would have been a nice mind control target. And he plays Sunky Bataramir. He got that from Prince Liam, which I find interesting. Very lucky. I don't know if this was the best board for Sunkeeper Tarim. I guess he's trying to stop damage coming to his face. But I have 5 minions on board. He has 3, so we're gonna get some reasonable trades here. I mean, trading 3 minions into Tarim feels pretty bad, but it's still not great for him though, because he's not going to be left with much of a board at all. I can play Spiteful Summoner, I have the initiative here, or I can play the Worm Guard. And I'm actually going to play the Worm Guard. And I'll tell you why. With the way I'm trading here, I'm going to leave 1 dude on the board, I think. And I'm saying to him, I'm saying, how are you going to get through 11 health? Your 1 dude doesn't do it. You could try and buff the dude to get a poison effect of some kind.
Reporting for duty.
But of course, if you're going to buff for a poison effect, you'd have to play Stegodon. But he can't, because he's a nod-cost paladin. Okay. Okay, all this odd and even business is hurting my brain. Okay, so now, it could be time for the Dustbreaker. We can actually fit in Dustbreaker and Spiteful Summoner on this turn. What do we get this time? Okay, that's the best outcome. That is absolutely the best. Oh look, and Death and Decay, we actually get a useful card from the Lich King. Feels amazing. Okay, this next little highlight. It's against a Q block, and I don't want to showcase the whole game because, well, it was a very slow game, and this particular Q block was running Rin, so yeah, it's an even slower game. But notice something. There is a cube on the board. That is a cube that I stole. I don't think I'd sequenced this turn particularly well, but the key thing is I managed to pop the cube and get double Void Lord. That's the key thing to take away from that turn. And of course, with this Q block playing Doom Guards, having double Void Lord on board is blocking some of the damage there from charging Doom Guards. That's pretty important. Because as much value as we have in our deck, with double Free from Amber, double Mind Control, you can still get outvalued by Q block. Now granted, they didn't have Enzoth anymore, but Bloodreaver Gul'dan alone can just be enough. Cubes, Dark Packs on Doom Guards can just be enough to outvalue you. So the fact that we have double Void Lord on board is a massive, massive help here. Because now he has to put some serious thought into how to trade, what not to trade. It is quite a difficult turn. Now we've used our Dustbreaker, so we have to figure out a way to get through this board. We have some nice favourable trades here. Spirit Singer Umbra feels like a priority to kill. It's just a question of what do we use to kill her. I fancy keeping my dragon alive there. Obviously, we need to think about Defile. Defile's a big issue for us.
For the king!
But if he does Defile, and if he does find a way to clear this board fully, we still have a hand that is chock full of value. Now, obviously, Bloodbreather Gul'dan is going to be a problem for us. And this deck does not play Psychic Scream. None of these are especially great. I'm actually going to take Baku because he has 1 extra health. I actually value the 8 health here. I think that could be important when it comes to the trading game. But yeah, no Psychic Scream in this deck. No major AoE apart from Dustbreaker. If you think back in the day when Dragon Priest would always not often play Dragonfire Potion and Psychic Scream, you know, particularly in Wild Mode, where that's the thing potentially. Whereas here in Standard, of course, Dragonfire Potion has been rotated out. But yeah, Dragonfire Potion was always very good in Dragon Priest because your dragons don't get affected by it. But as I say, interestingly enough, there is no Psychic Scream in this deck. I guess the feeling is that it's not needed. You know, you do have the potential in this deck to play some pretty big taunts that you can discover from Stonehill Defender. So you've also got the Worm Guard, so maybe you can do enough to defend your face against aggro decks. Okay, so this is the second Dustbreaker, and in this game we actually got Prince Keleseth value. We never get Keleseth value, but we actually got it in this game. And he was hoping that the taunt would protect his face, but that's just lethal. Yeah, just like that. Just like that. And that is rank 2. Okay. Just want to look at another little clip here, another little game against a mage. Now, mages perhaps a bit different to the last game that we showcased. This is an aggressive mage with Aloneth. Then our face is gonna be vulnerable to burn, because we don't run healing in this deck. We are kind of like a tempo deck. We rely on board presence, board pressure, minion pressure. We don't really run any healing, so this is going to be a challenging game. A quick but challenging game. And of course, yes, explosive runes. So his priority is to burst us down, to kill us as quickly as possible. Ideally before we can get our big threats down from Spiteful Summoner. Now usually in this situation you'd want to play the Tar Creeper, right, to stop your face taking 3 damage, but with the secret in play, and given that I know he's got explosive runes, I didn't want to expose my Tar Creeper to explosive runes. Okay, I still believe that Tar Creeper is going to be really important. But maybe just not yet. How do we want to do this? Do we want to get rid of the minion with the highest attack? Or do we take the value trade? I think the value trade seems fine. Our health total is still reasonable. Okay, and it forces a pink. That's pretty good. Now our health total is a little less reasonable, but we're still hanging in there. Still okay. And I'm actually going to be brave. In fact, doubly brave. I didn't trade, so I went face, and I did not heal my face. I healed my minion. Against an Aluneth mage, you want to be healing your face as much as possible, I think. Because you never know where that lethal can come from. You know, one turn they suddenly play Aluneth, and then they have a hand full of cards and burn, and they just kill you within 1 or 2 turns. So every bit of healing probably is going to matter in this game. But what if he doesn't draw Aluneth? What then? Which is why I still feel safe enough to heal my minions rather than my face. Wow. All the spells. And he's pinging face. He probably thinks he's never going to get this board back. So he's just throwing all damage to face. It's a sound strategy. It's a sound strategy, but I still feel safe. And I am now doing reasonable amount of damage to his face. Oh dear. Okay, and now he's trying to race me. So should I have been healing my face these past few turns and not my board? Is that a misplay on my part? So if it is a race, then I need to ensure that I have maximum damage on the board. And Scalebane's going to ensure that. Now I could have played Explosive Runes, which could have got me a little bit more damage. But valued healing my face. There is not one card that kills me here. So yeah, that's certainly not going to do it. Ooh, getting close now. Getting very close. And that's it. Because Ice Block is no longer a thing in Standard, thank God. Now a friend of mine asking me about whether this deck is better than Spiteful Druid. And I think my answer to that is yes, because when I was playing Spiteful Druid, I kept drawing both Ultimate Infestations in my hand before I would draw my Spiteful Summoners, and therefore I got no value on my Summoners, and that made me very sad. Whereas this deck runs double Mind Control, double Free from Amber. As you can see, I actually have both Mind Controls in my hand, but I still have Free from Ambers in the deck. So it should be fine, hopefully, in terms of me getting my Spitefuls out before I run out of big spells. Now, I want to showcase this game because of this card right here.
Do not fear power. Fear those who
Yeah, fear those who wield power, says Frostitch Jaina. I got super lucky off of Glimmerroot. Super lucky. And what is ironic here, what is sad for him, is that I was able to play Frostitch Jaina before him. Okay, a turn before him, but I guess he felt the need to play her because this game just got serious. And now it's going to be a race to see who can summon water elementals. He's playing a big spell control style mage with Dragon's Fury.
By my frozen
But as it
heart.
stands, I have the advantage. I have 2 water elementals on the board.
Warriors of the
Huh.
frozen waste.
And that Lich King, it's got my name written all over it. So, not an easy turn for him. I mean, okay, there's a Dragon's Fury. 6 is pretty good. But he's had to invest an awful lot in that one turn just to clear my board. Just to get rid of the Lich King, actually. So, we're just going to refill. So, we have 2 dragons in hand, so that's good because it means that our Dustbreaker is still going to be active. This doesn't do anything for us picking the Raven because, I mean, it could draw us one of our big spells potentially, but it's not. As a minion to put down on the board, it doesn't do much. It's much better for him because playing a Raven draws him into board clear or AoE, which actually impacts the board straight away. So yeah, much better for him than it is for me. And what do you know? He actually got a decent card off of Lich King. How interesting. Well, I've got the same thing. The question is, how do I want to go about buffing my board? What do I want to play first?
Time melts away.
It's actually quite a tricky turn, because I've got to think about trading as well. I don't want to use the Scalebane, because it's my dragon, my only dragon left in hand. I like the idea here, though, of double Stonehill. Oh, look, the Lich King. Stonehill on its own isn't great, but Stonehill with a buff is pretty sweet. And in this case, a buffed up minion that cannot be targeted by his hero power.
I bring life.
And that's not going to do it for him. That's really not going to do it for him. This game is all but over now. I have so much value in my hand.
Oh, a shadow.
I think we can leave Alexstrasza on the board. At 2 attack, she poses zero risk or 0 threat to us. He has to get through 3 taunts now with anything that he's got on board. And I appreciate that he may still have AoE left in his deck, so he may have a Blizzard or a Flame Strike, for example. And that does something, but it doesn't do enough. It doesn't do anywhere near enough.
Well played.
Intruder!
Here I'm happy to trade because I generate a water elemental. And I'm going to go as wide as I can on this board. even if he has more AoE, the Lich King is going to survive more than likely, and that will mean game over, pretty much. Baron Geddon. That heals him up to 30. It's still not enough, right? It's still not enough. Spiteful Summoner. I guess we see what we get, right?
He loves you.
Oh boy. Get Alec here. And that is pretty cool.
Has come.
Pretending to be a shaman. Feels amazing. So how does he get rid of this board?
Need a key?
No, there's nothing he could do there. That was a super sweet win. So with this deck, I've been going back and forth through rank 2, right? I think I got to rank 2 for 5 stars, and then back to 1 star, then up to 3. So I've been sort of navigating rank 2 with this deck. It got me sort of a streak of wins going through rank 3 though, but as I say, I've stalled a little bit at rank 2. But regardless, still a really effective deck. I just wish I'd actually draw Prince Keleseth early on in the game. That +1/+1 buff from Keleseth does make such a massive difference. So yeah, just wish that I'd get better at this game so I could actually get better Keleseth RNG. Compared to my time playing Spiteful Druid, I've had so much more luck with this deck in terms of Spiteful Summoner, in terms of drawing Spiteful Summoner on turn 6, or if not on turn 6, then on turn 8 or turn 9 or turn 10, but drawing Spiteful Summoner whilst I still have big spells left in my deck. When I played Spiteful Druid, I really didn't have any luck at all. I'd always draw both UIs in my hand and then the Spiteful Summoners, and it felt really bad. So yeah, I preferred this deck over Spiteful Druid, but with the nerfs that are hitting on the 22nd of May, there's only a couple of days left to play this deck, so, you know, before Spiteful gets nerfed. But even when Spiteful gets nerfed and costs 1 more mana, it's still gonna be viable in my opinion. So yeah, maybe you guys want to give this deck a try. Nightscale Matriarch is a card that we haven't discussed much in this video. You didn't see it get much value, but in games that I've played that were not recorded for video, the Matriarch has been tremendous for me. Wormguard is a card that I appreciate. Even when it's silenced, it's still a pretty big body that can get some good trades. So anyway, thank you very much for joining me, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys all again very soon for more Hearthstone fun.